It's another episode, the third episode of Brooklyn Weekly. I got Bam. Say hello, Bam.
Yo, yo.
Let's talk basketball. Bam,
What up?
ever since you said that thing about scary hours, Nets fans,
Right?
I can't stop seeing it, man.
It's so corny.
I have like 4 scary hour sweatshirts. And I'm almost embarrassed to wear it.
Dude, you're a grown man. Take those things off.
I have a matching one with my son.
Well, that's something different. If it's something you share with your kid, that's fine, but just keep that in mind. Like, it's like something like a, 10-year-old would latch onto. It's lame.
All right. Let me describe what our settled upon. This is our third episode. Our settled upon framework and name of the show. This is Brooklyn Nets Weekly. I'm sure something else is called that. Just like after I became the front office, I found so many other things called the front office. But this name actually started. You want to know the crazy thing is, I initially started this mad years ago. One episode though with you remember Tommy D from the Knicks?
Yeah, I know that clown.
Yeah, so he used to work for me. A good guy. And we were gonna do a New York basketball pod. We had an entire podcasting radio station nested inside of our office and called PNC Radio. If anyone's ever heard of those cats. But we were so busy actually doing work back then, we never really got it off the ground. But I'm thrilled to be doing this with you, partner. I really like having this other perspective besides Sam and I, and what we do post game. Shout out to my other partner Sam LaChow.
And I got to be honest, I would be terrible on a post game because I'm too emotional during games and after losses that nothing coherent would come out of me after like a loss. So I'm better off just once a week stopping in where I can gather my thoughts and I'm not in an emotional state. So I look forward to this every weekend.
Nah, I could say that it's good to try to look at, kind of like I wouldn't call it a 30,000 foot view, but maybe like a 500 foot view, in the sense of looking at a week across a week, because we had some ups, we had some downs, but the framework of our opinion is, and I think Nets fans need to stop this particular thing. And I'm not here to tell Nets fans what to do, but I'm hoping that our culture could get away from this thing that I'm seeing a lot, which is people talking about next year. We're not a next year team. And I'm going to get your take on this before after I say my piece on it. The Nets, the moment you trade for James Harden, the Nets are not a next year team. The Nets are you got to get it done this year. You got to put every effort. There's no more, what was the thing that Sean Marks used to say about, oh yeah, here we go. About skipping steps.
Right.
All the steps have been skipped. All of we don't have to play these little emotional games of, KD was watching YouTube videos of Kenny Atkinson and he liked how he addressed the after post games and the plays he was calling. KD couldn't care less about Kenny Atkinson being here. KD didn't come here to play with any of these players. All the players that he could have been coming here to play with are gone. And we need to just stop playing games. We took an entire year off. It's time to do the thing now. And because next year you got to sign Harden. We're going to be the team that has to give him that $108 million contract extension, or what. It's going to be worse because next year it ticks up a bit. So I don't know, man. Looking at this week, and kind of looking at the response to some of the shoddy games and the bad defense, I don't know. Give me your take on it. Where do you see us in terms of this talk about next year amongst Knicks fans?
Well, there's a part of the fan base that's just happy we have stars.
I hate them.
No, I don't. The part that wasn't a net fan 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the people like us that want to win the whole thing and could care less about who the players are.
Right.
Now, if you're talking about next year, I mean, realistically, it's really about the next move. It's not about next year. Because I think we agree that as currently constructed, we can go to a finals maybe. I would doubt it, but we could go. But I can't see us beating a Lakers team in a 7-game series. So it's really about the next move. What do we do next? Whether that's the buyout market or potential trade or trades. That we shouldn't be talking about next year. We should about the next move this year to try to put us into, okay, now we can roll the balls out and go and compete with anybody in a 7-game series.
It's weird. I'm one of those nerds that actually listens to the post game press conferences, and as someone who happily migrated to the Brooklyn Nets as soon as they broke ground in on Atlantic Avenue, I'm just not used to this. Like, the Nets, the people who cover the Nets make more excuses for the Nets than the Nets. I watched that interview with James Harden today.
Yeah.
And he said to Rachel Nichols, we don't have to be a great defense. We just have to be solid. When I heard him say that, it scared the shit out of me. Like, what's your take on that comment?
That's something he as a leader, because he has one thing I like about James is, compared to Durant and Irving, he'll say to anybody on the team, like, yo, what the fuck was that? You know, whereas he tends to pick on Joe Harris every time there's a problem. You know, or he'll be like, TLC, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
That's something James should keep in his head, understand that. He's probably not wrong, but it's a bad message. Like, hey, let's just shoot to be solid. You know, that they should be more demanding of themselves than each other. Best teams, whether it's CYO or NBA, the players have to hold each other accountable, and I would like them to hold each other to a higher standard than that.
As a ball player, though, like, I played very little organized ball because I was a football player. I wanted to be a football player. That was my focus. And so, but you playing ball at a lot of different levels, like, what is happening in AAU that has these players believing that they could win? I mean, you could win an AAU championship with no defense. But and especially since Harden is 32, like, it just bugs me out that I've never heard Kevin Durant talk about excelling at defense. When he was at OKC, he would do I'll never forget this. It struck me back in the day, and hearing him say, "We are a defense first team" at OKC. But while he's been here at the Nets, I've listened to whole podcasts that he does. I've listened to whole podcasts with him and Kyrie, and neither one of them ever say the word defense anymore.
Kevin said it once in a post game. They said, do you think you need to be great? He said yes, but it was more of like, I'm saying this because that's what you want to hear.
Right.
Kevin is like weird because he loves the game. I don't really know if he loves he craves winning. Like LeBron is, what LeBron's mission is. He's about collecting as many titles as possible.
Yep.
I don't know if Kevin looks at it the same way.
No, I think kind of Kevin looks at it like, all right, I'm never gonna get the GOAT, of our generation.
Right.
Let me just be a beast. Let me just be on a beast mode team and just
Right.
have fun. Like the thing that it looks like they're having fun out there. And
Right.
I'm all for that too.
I can run the train on some like chick in the hotel after the game. And like we all drop 30, and we'll get a nice dinner before we do it.
Yeah, right. And it's kind of ugly because I look at it and I go, the whole purpose, like you could be in the GOAT conversation. There's people who would love to say that Kevin is better than Durant, Kevin is better than LeBron. I'd love to say that. But I think he's just resting on the laurels of just saying, hey, I'm the greatest scorer of this generation and no one can say different. And it's a little bit frustrating for me, because I want to win a champ. I want the team to win a championship. I want to see them get the glory. Like this is what's gonna make it worth it. So it fucks my head up to see them kind of just be so laissez-faire about the defense. And I wonder, is it out of ignorance? Is it out of just believing that we have so much offensive firepower that when we feel like it, nobody's gonna beat us? Do you think that it's possible that they could believe that?
I think it's probably true that if they were solid, like they were 15th in the league defensively, that they could beat anybody probably 4 out of 7. But I don't see them as constructed. I don't think they have the personnel or the mindset to be consistently play 15th on a night-in, night-in basis.
Right.
Like against Indiana, I wasn't really all that impressed with the defense. I thought Indiana laid an egg in the first half, and then they started hitting some shots in the second half, and it looked like the same shit. They scored every possession.
Yeah, and worse, Indiana played into their hands. Like they literally just went against everything that they do well and tried to jump shoot with us.
Yeah, Sabonis is like the one is like the perfect matchup for a guy like DeAndre because he's going to try to muscle you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what Turner. One of my biggest takeaways was, man, Miles Turner is soft. He's got Durant on him. He's sitting out at the 3-point line. He's like Lopez.
Yeah. It was like you're 6'11", you're a chubby dude. Get in, throw some of that weight around.
Yeah.
Like play
he
ball.
He definitely has tits when he takes his shirt off.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
There's no question. He's wearing a training bra out there for sure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
I wasn't that impressed with the Indiana game. I mean, look, I was happy they won it. It was a game they definitely needed to win, but I didn't walk away like, see, when they play their ass off, they can play defense. I was just like, in Indiana, I had a night where just nothing went right for them.
Nah, man, and the Detroit game, when they lost 122-111 to Detroit, it showed me that there's a game plan that you could do because Griffin is shot.
Dude, I'm embarrassed. I suggested trading for him.
I remember. I didn't. I let you live on that one, but I remember. But you know what? He might be good on this team. You mean to tell me Griffin couldn't give you better minutes than Green?
Yeah. So look, if he got bought out, which I doubt he would, but
you can't trade for Griffin.
No, not at his. So I figured, look, he'll come back. He'll be motivated. He looks just like, first off, he looks disinterested. He's living in Detroit. He's probably like, this place fucking sucks. Our team sucks. Like, what happened to my basketball career? Like, fuck the Clippers for sending me here.
Yeah. He was smashing Kardashians the other day and Hollywood starlets. And now it's like,
fucking some, chick from 8 Mile.
Yeah, that's his.
Going to the shelter to watch.
I mean, but if you're Blake Griffin, you could fly in talent.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but at the same time, it must fucking suck to just go from LA to Detroit. He'd love it. He'd be a beast here. As a matter of fact, if he was here in Brooklyn, I think he'd be thrilled and he'd play hard as hell to kind of finish his career in New York.
You know, one thing I was a little surprised at is